thank you very much for joining us tonight. Well, the trial of the century is over. A jury has found former Governor Ricky Bordallo guilty on 10 counts of a 17-count federal corruption indictment. Craig Chason was in the courtroom during the reading of the verdict this morning. He is here with us tonight to talk about the historic decision. Kirk, how are the people in the courtroom reacting to the decision? Obviously, how did the governor react? Also, how did the man who prosecuted him, William O'Connor, react?
Well, John Bordallo remained emotionless during the reading of the verdicts, which certainly must have been no easy task because the court clerk read the verdicts off one by one, all 17 of them. Now, while Bordallo had been extremely elusive during the trial, he returned to his familiar speaking style as he left the building. Although he was understandably disappointed, he was quite talkative.
Governor,
Now, O'Connor says he cannot tell exactly how many years Bordallo is facing. He says he has not bothered to tally it up, but he says it is more than 70 years. Now, he cannot say how many years the prosecution will recommend at sentencing, which is set for April 3rd, John, but he does believe Bordallo will appeal the conviction.
Kirk, what was the mood in the courtroom? Everybody always wants to know that when going through this laborious counting of the 17 counts of guilty, not guilty. You said the governor was very calm, O'Connor was very calm. Was there electricity in the courtroom?
Electricity would probably be a fair assessment of a lot of the supporters in the pews, so to speak, in the seats in the courtroom. They were very tense, had a lot of tense looks on their faces. Bordallo also looked very tense, but in terms of any great outburst of emotion on the part of either O'Connor or Bordallo when the final count, the final verdict had been read, actually both sides were really quite calm, not very emotional.
Almost a sense of melancholy in that interview. It would be hard to believe that he would not appeal, but you had a sense of almost melancholy talking about, well, I'll just go to jail and that sort of thing.
I think he's trying to make a political statement of some sort, which is a lot of what he talked about when he came out.
Okay, thank you very much, Kirk. Well, today, a historic day. Cable news had no fewer than 3 news teams on the scene when that verdict came down at, I think, about 11:15 this morning.
Vinay sued. Count 8, attempted extortion, not guilty. The alleged $50,000 bribe offer from sued. Count 9, bribery regarding a federally funded agency, not guilty. Count 10, extortion, not guilty. 2 counts involving the alleged $70,000 campaign bill payment from Dr. Frederick Mann. Count 11, accepting an illegal gratuity, guilty. The $10,000 payment from local businessman Ken Jones. Counts 12 through 15, wire fraud, all not guilty, concerning money transfers in the cases involving Dr. Mann and the Japanese company. There's count 16, conspiracy to obstruct justice, guilty, and count 17, witness tampering, guilty, both involving Bordallo's cover-up of money that he received.
Bordallo says the increased importance of Guam, considering the unstable situation in the Philippines, is no reason to intimidate and harass local leaders. He says the trial is still an example of colonialism and racism on the part of the United States, and he says he'll continue to talk that way until the Chamorro people are given a say in their own future. But will he appeal the convictions?
Yeah, to me, I'd just as soon go to jail, you know, for the principle I stand for. Because it's going to be very economically difficult for me to appeal and have the resources to do it. That, again, is one of the sad commentary of our criminal justice system. It takes money.
Upstairs, U.S. Attorney William O'Connor is not celebrating. He's the same polished personality that won the 10 convictions. Does he enjoy any personal satisfaction? He says no. Is this the biggest case he's ever won? He says he does not think of cases in those terms. What about the charge that this is federal interference in local politics?
That's a bogus assessment of the situation. It has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with America. The people have spoken through the jury, and they say no more corruption is acceptable. That's all that's going on here.
Now, O'Connor says he cannot tell exactly how many years Bordallo is facing. He says he has not bothered to tally it up, but he says it is more than 70 years. Now, he cannot say how many years the prosecution will recommend at sentencing, which is set for April 3rd, John, but he does believe Bordallo will appeal the conviction.
Kirk, what